What's up guys, Eric here from Sonic. I have here a 2017 Lexus ES and we're going to be installing the Apple CarPlay system today. It's a plug and play install. Also compatible with other select 2013 to all the way to 2019 Lexus models with factory navigation. For the models without factory navigation, we're going to be coming out with another kit very soon. So stay tuned on that. Let's not waste any time. Get in the car and get started. Alright, now that we're in the car, what we are going to do is first remove this center piece right here. It's only being held by clips. And then after that, we'll be removing this plastic garnish that's holding the clock. That's also being held by clips. And then we're going to be removing this bottom plastic piece here, also being held by clips. After these pieces are removed, there's going to be 4 10mm bolts that's holding this radio in place. I'm going to remove that, pull this out. And then after that, we're going to be working on the top screen. Remove this garnish that surrounds the top screen. We're going to pull the screen forward so we have access to the connectors behind it. And then thirdly, we are going to drop the glove box because we're going to be mounting our interface behind the glove box. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so to remove this center garnish, I'm going to just grab a hold of this, push this up, and then I'm able to actually stick my finger under here and then just gently start pulling it up. Alright, you can also use a panel removal tool, something like this, and move it down here, just pop it up. Okay, so I popped all the clips off on the bottom using this panel removal tool. Was popping it, going all the way to the side, loosened it out, and then we are going to remove this in one piece. Okay, next we're going to remove this garnish that's holding the clock in the vents. It's all just being held by clips. Okay, so what I did was I held this area over here, the bottom part, gave a nice pull towards me, pull this clip off, and I'm gonna work my way all the way to the right. Alright, so all the clips are loose, and next reach down back here, and then there's gonna be one connector. Go ahead and remove that by pressing the tab below and just pulling it out. Okay. So once that part is out, you will see a really big hole here. Okay, and then next we are going to remove this panel right under the radio. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to use a panel removal tool. Place the panel removal tool here, pry it out, and once it's out, we're going to make our way down. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this out. Alright, and then it's out. So now all we have to do is unbolt these 2 10mm bolts up there, and there's also going to be 2 on the bottom. Okay, right there, and then here. Okay, let's go ahead and remove that using a long socket, deep socket wrench with a 10mm socket. Okay, so once those 4 10mm bolts are out, all we have to do is grab a hold of this and pull it out. Before we do that, grab a thick piece of blanket like this, place it over your center console so you don't scratch anything. I'm gonna carefully pull this out and place it on this towel, okay? Alright, here it is. Alright, so our radio's out. We're gonna leave it as is. And next, we are going to remove this top screen. Okay, to remove the top screen, you'll notice that there's 2 clips that's holding. We're going to use something like this to remove those clips first. Alright, so as you can see there, it's popping out now. We loosened it using our little tool, and after you pop it out, you could just pull it out with your fingers, just like that. And let me place this on the side. We are going to reuse those. After that, let's go ahead and just carefully remove this garnish piece. Alright, so what we did was we used a panel removal tool up here, and we carefully unclip these clips, 1, 2, 3, 4, and once we did that, fall down like this. Okay, so once it's out like this, go ahead and just pull it out. Okay, after the garnish is out, you'll notice that there's 2 Phillips screws, 1 and 2. We're gonna remove that, and after we remove it, I'm gonna place a microfiber towel right here and lay the screen on top of that. Alright, it's out. You just pull it. It's only these clips holding it, and then once you pull it out, just let it sit like this. And next, we're going to work on our glove compartment. Alright, so to remove this glove compartment, we're going to start from the bottom and then work our way up. So first, if you dig deep in here, you'll notice in this corner, right here, it's a little clip. You just go ahead and push it. Okay, this clip right here, and remove it. And then go ahead and pull it down to the left. It's only being held by clips. And once you remove all this, go ahead and disconnect this connector. This is for your light. Okay, and once you disconnect it, let's put this aside. Okay, next we're gonna remove this side panel here. Just use a panel removal tool. And once that's out, there's gonna be a few 10mm bolts that we need to remove. So we're gonna start off from the bottom. Okay, there's one right there, one. There's another one right there, two. And then I believe we also have to remove the one we see from there, three. So let's go ahead and remove those now. Okay, so we loosen those bolts, and after we loosen those, we also need to remove this door sill, this kick panel, and then also this garnish piece here. So let's go ahead and remove those three pieces out. Just grab a hold of it and just pull it up. I'm sorry, you don't need to take the door sill out. I just need to pull this out. And in order to take this out, there's actually, if you reach down in the back, just like a little plastic cover that you need to unscrew. Okay, just turn it counterclockwise. It looks like this. Remove it, and then other than that, it's only being held by clips. We're just gonna pull it out carefully. Okay, and you can also use the assistance of a panel removal tool if needed. Okay, so this piece is out, and now we're gonna remove this piece. Okay, this is also being just being held by clips. Okay, you don't have to remove the whole entire piece, loosen it, because you just need to get access to this piece right here. Release this area, and once that's out, we're just going to carefully pull this airbag assembly down. So let's do that now. Okay, so it will drop down like this. We're just gonna let it hang here for a little bit. Just make sure these metal brackets doesn't hit anything because it's kind of sharp and it can scratch, so just be careful with that. Okay, for our next step, we're gonna remove the Phillips screws. This one, and also this one right here, okay? All right, so the next step is to remove this panel piece. Just use a panel removal tool, put it in this little crack here, and just pry it down. And then we're gonna remove this whole piece off. And behind here is going to be some Phillips screws that we need to remove. Okay, there's gonna be 1, 2, and 3. Let's remove those, and after we remove those 3, the glove box is ready to be dropped. Okay, after we drop the glove box, you'll notice that there's a few connectors. Go ahead and remove all those connectors so we could set the glove box aside in a safe place. Alright, so we're gonna start off with the radio side. So we're gonna remove this connector and also this connector. Okay, and to remove this connector, just use either a panel removal tool or a flathead screwdriver. Insert it here, just pop it out. And then this one is just grab it with your hand like this to pull it out. And on the other side, we're gonna connect our connector to it, our harness. Okay, just like this. It'll click into place. And the other end will connect into the radio. Just like that. Okay, and then we're gonna daisy chain our aux cable. Okay, our harness goes into the car, and the car side goes into our harness. Just like that. Okay, so we're done with these connections. And then one thing we need to also configure is this CAN wires. Okay, so for this ES, we're gonna use a GS CAN signal, okay? And then, so as you can see here, one of them has the GS label, so that's the one we're gonna unplug. And we're going to daisy chain it to these other loose cables. All right. Just like that, okay? So all the connection behind the radio is done. Now let's go to, we're gonna go to the glove compartment side over here. We're going to route these 2 blue cables from the glove compartment all the way to behind the screen. We're gonna go from the right side of the screen. Okay, there's some room there. There's a lot of room actually. basically just fish it from the bottom to the top. Alright, like this. And then we are also going to route this wire that came from the main harness that we just connected earlier. And we're going to route this to the top too. Okay, once these connectors are up here, we're going to daisy chain it. Okay, let's start off with our blue connectors. So we're first gonna disconnect the factory connectors, okay? Let's disconnect them, both of them. And we're gonna connect this factory to our connector. And then from our connector to the factory screen. Okay, and also same thing, the black connector goes to our connector like that, and then our connector will go to the screen. Okay, alright, so this part is done. We could tuck this away. And then next step, we're going to be working on connecting the interfaces. And before we do that, let's go ahead and finish routing these wires from behind the radio to also the glove side. Okay, there's this power wire for the Apple CarPlay. We have the main harness, and we also have the mic cable, these 3 cables, and also your aux cable. Okay, for your version, it's only gonna show the red and white. And then we are going to route this to the glove compartment. Okay, so at the aux, we have the mic, and we have the power, and we also have our main harness here, which we all routed nicely. So all the wires that we need are here. And then let's start to connect our interface. So we're gonna start off with this. And for this setting, the dip switch should be all off. And the video cable, you'll see these are labeled. The output one will go on the inside. And then the input label will go on the outside. And then let's grab a hold of this connector here, which has a shrink wrap to it. Okay, we're gonna grab this. On one side is going to connect to the harness that we connected to the car. And make sure you hear that click, it's very important. And on the other side, we are going to connect to this harness over here. And if you look at this harness, there's a lot of other connections that's connected to it. Just go ahead and just ignore all those because we're not going to be using it. The blue, green, and these video cables, and also this as well. So go ahead and ignore those. And then on the other side of this is going to connect to our interface like that. Okay, and then one more connection on the interface and we're done with that one, which is the HDMI cable. And the other side is going to connect to the Apple CarPlay side right here. And on the HDMI side, the 3.5mm is your AUX for your sound, and the other side of your AUX will connect to this harness that was connected to behind the radio like that. And then we're going to connect the power wires to this Apple CarPlay to power it up. And then the other side, this is just for your mic, the USB side, like this. And then very last connector we have here is the USB connector. This is to connect to your phone, just like that. And this we will route later to the glove box. Alright, so we have everything connected. Let's power up the car. Let's test to make sure everything's working. And after everything's working, we're gonna change some settings in the Apple CarPlay device. And then after that, we're going to clean up the wires, mount it safely in a very good location where it won't rattle and it'll be secure. And then we will reverse order our installation process, and that will conclude our installation. So let's first test it. Alright, so it looks like it's working as it should. So one thing we need to do is we need to set up the Apple CarPlay. So go ahead and locate your Apple CarPlay box, and on the side where there's a USB, you'll find this white connector, and then closest to the 3.5mm jack you'll notice that there's a little pin that you could push, okay? So go ahead and long push that. And then once you do that, this is the settings for Apple CarPlay. And as you can tell, everything's at 56 volume except for the main volume. So we're gonna increase that to 56. Alright, so for the ES, it's a little bit tight here. So what we did is we mounted the Apple CarPlay device here, and then we mounted the interface up there. You guys might find a better way to mount it, but here it is. And we're gonna clean up the wires just a little bit more in the middle, and then we're gonna close it up. Alright everybody, we finished installing it. We mounted our interfaces, we cleaned up the wires, we reversed order our dismantling, and now everything's back in its place. And let me do a quick demonstration for you guys. As you can see right now, this is the native screen. If you long hold the home button, if you press it, then it'll switch over to your Apple CarPlay mode, and you'll know it when you see the word system ready. And this is what happens when you plug your phone in now. In the beginning, it's gonna tell you to unlock your phone and to allow MV17 to use while the phone is locked. So go ahead and say yes. I already did that earlier, so I don't need to do it. And you'll see this logo, and then now you could just lock your phone, put it away, and now you'll be using your factory joystick. As you can see, you could press and swipe, so you could swipe in and out of the second screen. And if you have a music player such as Pandora, just press it like this. Okay, pause button. Or if you want to go to the next track, it's the up button. Okay, and if you want to go to the previous track, you go to the down button. Unfortunately, Pandora doesn't have that function, but if you have your own music that you downloaded, you could use the next, seek, and then previous. And if you want to go back to your native screen, once again, hold, press, home. Okay, it's your native screen. Press and hold home again, and then it'll take you to the Apple CarPlay. Okay, one other thing I didn't mention is your car always needs to be in aux mode, as all the music and sound's gonna go through your aux channel. Okay, and if you press the menu button, you will summon Siri. What's the weather today?
It's currently clear and 78 degrees in La Mirada.
Or you can say, hey Siri, what's the weather today?
It's currently clear and
so you could do both ways. You could say it or you could press it. And on top of that, when you make phone calls, it's going to use your factory Bluetooth system. When you receive phone calls, you're also going to use factory Bluetooth system. And then the steering wheel control volume will continue to work. Okay. Unfortunately, you do not see the changes on the screen, but it is still working. And you can also pick up phone calls and hang up phone calls on your steering wheel control as well. Touch your climate control. It will go back to the native screen just for a moment, just so you see the setting. So watch, I change this. It'll show the top, and then just a few seconds later, it'll come back to your Apple CarPlay screen. And depending on what applications you have on your phone that's compatible with Apple CarPlay will automatically display on the screen. Alright, well that concludes our installation and demonstration video on this 2017 Lexus ES. The same kit is compatible with many other Lexus vehicles. So if you have any questions, send us an email at info@bsonicusa.com or leave a message below and I'll reply to you personally. Thank you very much for watching.